From the KSOC studios at Southern Oregon University, this is Play It By Ear. We are your co-hosts. I'm Samuel Wick.
And I'm Grace Wolcott. Welcome to another exciting episode of Radio Theater from our very own SOU students.
That's right. Tonight, we extend to you a cordial invitation to listen in to a play of intellect and mystery first broadcasted in 1945.
Tonight, we offer you the second installment of our Sherlock Holmes arc. This case is called The Problem of Thor Bridge, directed by Samuel Wick, and it explores the deductive mind of our favorite detective.
But before we immerse ourselves in the world of Sherlock Holmes, we first present you with a few potent jokes to set you in a certain listening mood. Stephanie Nuremberg, take it away.
Hey everyone, it's Stephanie, and I have some jokes for you today. The first one is, why did the cowboy have a wiener dog? Because someone told him to get along, little doggy. The second one is, what is made of plastic and swings from bell towers? The lunch pack of Notre Dame. Oh, I was walking around campus the other day, and this girl came up to me and said that she recognized me from the vegetarian club, but I had never met herbivore. Thanks, everyone. I'm Stephanie Nuremberg, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. Your jokes never seem to end.
They certainly don't. And one last thing before we send you off is an update of critical news in local theater by Kat Prine.
Hello, this is Kat Prine filling in for Jesse Scales with your theater news. 'Tis the season for award ceremonies. During May, the theater world gears up to recognize and reward the best of the best for the year. To start things off, the nomination for the 2012 Tony Awards have been announced. The nominees for Best Play are Clybourne Park by Bruce Norris, Other Desert Cities by John Robin Bates, Peter and the Starcatcher by Rick Ellis, and Venus and Fur by David Ives. Nominees for Best Musical are Leap of Faith, Newsies, Nice Work If You Can Get It, and Once. The ceremony will be streamed live on Sunday, June 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. The 2012 Theater World Award winners for Outstanding Broadway or Off-Broadway debut performances during the 2011-2012 theatrical season were announced May 8th. The winners are Tracy Bennett, Philip Boykin, Crystal A. Dickinson, Russell Harvard, Jeremy Jordan, Joaquina Kalungoa, Jennifer Lim, Jesse Mueller, Hayden Park, Chris Perfetti, Finn Whitrock, and Josh Young. The New York Drama Critics Circle named Stephen Karam's Son of the Prophet the best play of the 2011-2012 season, following a meeting of its members on May 7th. The 77th Annual Awards also recognized Nina Raines' Tribes as Best Foreign Play and Once as Best Musical. Special citations were given to Off-Broadway's Signature Theater Company and, for contributions to the theater, director Mike Nichols. In local theater news, the current season for OSF includes Romeo and Juliet, Animal Crackers, The White Snake, Medea Macbeth Cinderella, The Seagull, and Troilus and Cressida. Henry V, The Very Merry Wives of Windsor, Iowa, and As You Like It open in the first week of June. Here at SOU, La Terrasse opened on Thursday, May 9th at 8 p.m. It will be running for 3 weeks. This year's musical, Lucky Stiff, will open on Thursday, May 17th at 8 p.m. at the Formal Student Gala. Buy tickets now, as Gala sells out quickly. This has been your theater news. Thanks.
There you have it. Thank you, Kat. And now we present tonight's episode, Sherlock Holmes and the Problem of Thor Bridge.
Enjoy the show.
This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Petrie Wine brings you Spencer Richardson and Austin Harmon in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petrie family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invites you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. And while you're settling back comfortably in your chair, mind if I tell you about something I'd like you to share with me? It's a glass of Petri California Sherry! Of course, most people think of Petri California Sherry as the one wine that's really swell anytime, but personally, I like a glass of that Petri Sherry just before dinner. You know, that's the time you're a little on edge, you've just finished your day's work, and you're waiting for your dinner, and, well, that's the time you want to lean back and take it easy. And boy, that's the time a glass of Petri Sherry tastes like something just too good to be true. Try it. Petri Sherry's the perfect before dinner wine. And, incidentally, if you like your sherry dry, you know, not sweet, then you'll find that a Petri Pale Dry Sherry is made just for you. The important thing is the Petri label, because when it says Petri, it always means good wine. And now for our weekly visit with our good friend and host, Dr. Watson. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Bartell. You're a bit late. I've been keeping some dinner hot for you here. Pull up your chair and join me.
That's very nice of you. Thanks, Doctor. Are you all set with tonight's story?
Yes, my boy. I'm all set, as you call it. As a matter of fact, I was going over my notes on the case just before you arrived.
Last week, you hinted that a beautiful girl figured prominently in your adventure.
That's quite right, Mr. Bartell. An extremely beautiful girl. In fact, I often used to say to Sherlock Holmes that if I'd been a little younger at the time, I might... Oh, well, you haven't come here to listen to my personal reminiscences. You want to hear the story that I called The Problem of Thor Bridge.
That's what you promised us, Doctor. How did it begin?
On a windy morning in October, in 1890 it was, as I was dressing, I observed how the last remaining leaves were being whirled away from the sultry plane tree which graced the yard behind our Baker Street house. I descended to breakfast, prepared to find my companion in depressed spirits, for, like all great artists, he was easily impressed by his surroundings. But to my surprise, he was in an unusually gay mood. As I entered the room, he looked up at me, and with a smile he spoke.
Good morning, my dear fellow. I hope you slept well.
Splendidly. Thanks, Holmes.
I'm so glad.
Well, you're very solicitous this morning. I think you must have got a new case. Am I right?
The faculty of deduction is certainly contagious. Yes, I have a new case. After a month of trivialities and stagnation, the wheels revolve once more.
Good. Tell me all about it.
Well, as yet, there isn't much to tell. Have you ever heard of Neil Gibson?
Neil Gibson? Oh, yes. Something to do with gold mining, hasn't he?
A great deal to do with it, my dear fellow. In fact, he's considered to be the greatest mining magnate in the world. About 5 years ago, he bought a large estate in Hampshire. Perhaps you've read of the tragic death of his wife.
Oh, yes, of course. I remember the case now. She was murdered by a jealous governess who was in her employ, wasn't she?
That point will be decided when the lady in question, Grace Dunbar, I believe her name is, comes up for trial at the forthcoming Winchester Azzies. In any case, it's hard to see what I can do for my client at this late date.
Your client?
Oh, yes. I forgot I hadn't told you. I'm getting into your involved habit of telling a story backwards. You better read this letter. Came this morning.
Let's have a look. Dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes, Miss Dunbar is innocent. I can't see the finest woman in the world go to her death without doing everything possible to save her. I shall call on you at 10:30 tomorrow morning to discuss the matter. Yours faithfully, Neil Gibson. Good gracious me.
There you have it, Watson. That is the gentleman I await.
Do you know anything about his dead wife?
Only what I've been reading in the papers. Apparently she was past her prime, which was the more unfortunate as this Miss Dunbar, who superintended the education of the two young children, is reputed to be a very attractive young lady.
The eternal triangle, eh? Well, where did the murder take place?
On Gibson's estate in Hampshire. His wife was found on the grounds nearly half a mile from the manor house, late at night, clad in her dinner dress with a shawl over her shoulders, and a revolver bullet through her brain.
Any weapon found near her?
No, there were no clues found at the scene of the crime.
What made them suspect the governess?
Well, in the first place, there was some very incriminating evidence. A revolver with one discharged chamber, the caliber corresponding with the bullet in the dead woman's head, was found on the floor in Miss Dunbar's wardrobe.
Oh, was it? Pretty damaging evidence, Holmes.
So the coroner thought. And, to make the case even blacker against Miss Dunbar, the dead woman had a note on her making an appointment at that very spot and the note was signed by the governess.
It seems obvious that the girl's guilty. And the motive's clear. Mr. Gibson would be a great catch for a young girl. Love, fortune, power, all dependent on one life.
Possibly, Watson, but circumstantial evidence can be very misleading at times. Ah, there's the gentleman in question, unless I'm very much mistaken, considerably before his time.
Well, I can see him from the window here. Formidable-looking fellow. Must be well over 6 foot tall.
Judging by the way he's wrenching at that doorbell, he's a man with a violent temper.
Mrs. Hudson's opening the door to him now.
Ah, meet him on the stairs, will you, old chap? It'll save Mrs. Hudson a journey.
Right you are, Holmes. Up here, sir.
Are you Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, no, indeed. I'm his colleague, Dr. Watson. Come along in, won't you?
Mr. Neil Gibson, I presume.
That's right. So you're the great Sherlock Holmes, huh?
The adjective is your own, Mr. Gibson. Sit down, won't you? By the way, you may speak quite freely in front of Dr. Watson.
Well, I may as well begin by telling you that money means nothing to me in this case. You can burn it if it's of any use to you in lighting the truth. Miss Dunbar is innocent, and it's up to you to prove it. Just name your fee.
Mr. Gibson, my professional charges are on a fixed scale. I don't vary them except when I omit them altogether.
Very well. I imagine that you read the newspaper reports of the coroner's inquest.
Yes, very thoroughly.
I don't see that I can add anything that'll help you, but if there's any questions you'd like to ask, I'll answer them.
Well, thank you. First, what were the exact relations between you and Miss Dunbar?
I suppose you're within your rights in asking such a question, Mr. Holmes.
We will agree to suppose so, shall we?
Then, I can assure you that my relations with Miss Dunbar were always those of an employer towards a young lady whom he never conversed with or ever saw, except in the presence of his children.
I'm a rather busy man, Mr. Gibson, and I've no time or taste for aimless conversation. I wish you good morning.
What the devil do you mean by this, Mr. Holmes?
My dear sir, the case is difficult enough without your giving me false information.
Meaning that I lie, sir?
I was trying to express it as delicately as possible, but if you insist on the word, I won't contradict you.
Why, you confounded!
Don't be noisy, Mr. Gibson, please, don't be noisy. I find that after breakfast, even the smallest argument is unsettling. I suggest that a stroll in the morning air and a little quiet thought will be greatly to your advantage.
I suppose I can't make you take the case, but you've done yourself no good this morning, Mr. Holmes. I've broken stronger men than you. No man ever crossed me and was better for it.
Good morning, Mr. Gibson. You've a great deal yet to learn.
Upon my soul, Holmes, you are unusually severe with him.
I dislike liars, Watson, and I cannot tolerate arrogance, particularly when it's coupled with great wealth.
How did you know about his relations with the governess?
I didn't. It was pure bluff.
Bluff? Well, it certainly worked. Think he'll come back?
Oh, of course he will. He needs my help too badly. He'll probably change his mind before he's halfway down the stairs. Come in. Ah, Mr. Gibson. Just saying to Dr. Watson that I was certain you'd be back.
I've been thinking it over, Mr. Holmes, and I feel that perhaps I was hasty in taking your remarks amiss. Just the same, I can assure you that the relations between Miss Dunbar and me really don't affect this case.
Surely that is for me to decide, Mr. Gibson.
You see, Mr. Gibson, my friend is like a doctor. He wants every symptom before he can give his diagnosis.
Fire away, Mr. Holmes. What is it you want to know?
The truth.
I can give it to you in very few words. To begin with, I met my wife while I was gold mining in Brazil.
Your wife was Brazilian by birth, wasn't she, sir?
Yes, Doctor, and very beautiful. Well, to make a long story short, I fell in love and married her and brought her to England. After a few years, I realized that we had nothing, absolutely nothing in common.
And then, I suppose, this young governess, Miss Dunbar, arrived on the scene.
That's right, Mr. Holmes. Well, the story should be obvious to you from there.
You fell in love with this girl, I suppose, sir?
Who can help it?
Did you suggest marriage to her?
Yes, though I knew my wife would never divorce me.
I see. Then you made an utterly insincere proposition to her.
Now look here, Mr. Holmes. I came to you on a question of evidence, not morals. I'm not asking for your criticism.
It's only the young lady's sake that forces me to touch your case at all. Now, Tell me, sir, what is your own opinion as to Miss Dunbar's guilt?
It's very black against her. I can't deny that. One explanation of the tragedy did come into my head, Mr. Holmes. I'll give it to you for what it's worth.
Pray, continue, Mr. Gibson.
My wife was bitterly jealous. She was half crazed with hatred. She might have planned to murder Miss Dunbar, or we'll say to threaten the girl with a revolver and so frighten her into leaving us. There might have been a struggle in which the gun exploded and gone off and shot my wife, who was holding it.
Well, that possibility has already occurred to me. It's the only obvious alternative to deliberate murder.
The revolver, Holmes, it was found on the floor of the governess' wardrobe.
Mr. Gibson, I should like to examine your house and the scene of the murder as soon as possible.
Certainly, Mr. Holmes. Sergeant Coventry of the local police is still down there. He'll give you any help you may need.
Excellent. Watson, old fellow, the timetable. We're catching the next fast train to Winchester.
So, if I have to have someone else on the case, I'd rather have you, Mr. Holmes. The yard gets called in, then we local police loses all credit for success. Generally gets blamed for the failures. Now, I've heard that you play straight.
I need not appear in the matter at all, Sergeant Coventry. If I can clear it up, I don't ask to even have my name mentioned.
Well, that's handsome of you, I'm sure now. I know your friend Dr. Watson can be trusted too.
Don't worry, my dear fellow. We won't steal any of your thunder.
Well, that's nice and friendly of you, Doctor. Well, come on, gentlemen. I'll walk you down to the bridge. That's where we found Mrs. Gibson's body. It's not far from the house here.
Well, I must say, Mr. Gibson has a beautiful estate. It must be 60 or 70 acres.
Oh, nearly twice that, Doctor. The woods back of the house there belongs to him too. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Sergeant?
There's a question I'd like to ask you. A question I wouldn't ask anyone else.
Then please, ask it.
Don't you think there might be a case against Mr. Gibson himself, sir?
I've been considering that possibility.
That there Miss Dunbar's a bit of all right. If you ask me, he wanted his wife out of the way. And the pistol she was shot with was his pistol, you know.
Oh, was that fact proven?
Yes, Doctor. It was one of a pair that he had.
One of a pair? Where's the other?
Well, Mr. Gibson has a lot of firearms. We never quite matched that particular pistol. But the box was made for two.
Well, if it was one of a pair, surely you'd be able to match it.
Well, we have them laid out at the house if you want to look them over.
We'll do that later. Ah, this, I presume, is Thorbridge?
That's right, sir. Found Mrs. Gibson's body lying right here at the approach of the bridge.
I see. I gathered from the newspaper reports that the shot was fired at a very close quarters.
Yes, sir, very close.
Near the right temple, wasn't it?
Just behind it, sir.
How did the body lie, Sergeant?
Oh, on its back, Doctor. No trace of a struggle, no marks, no weapon. The note from Miss Dunbar was clutched in her left hand.
Clutched, you say?
Yes, sir. We could hardly pry open the fingers to get at it.
Ah, that's of greatest importance. It excludes the idea that anyone could have placed the note there after death in order to furnish a false clue.
What did the note say, Sergeant?
Little enough, Doctor. It said, I will be at Thor Bridge at 9 o'clock. And it was signed Grace Dunbar.
Did Miss Dunbar admit writing it?
Oh, yes, sir.
What was her explanation?
She wouldn't say nothing. Said she was saving a defense for the trial.
Yes. It seems odd that Mrs. Gibson was still clutching that note.
It seems perfectly natural to me.
Oh, come now, old fellow. Argue the thing out logically. If the letter is genuine, it was certainly received sometime before the tragedy, say an hour or two. Why then was the dead woman still clasping it in her left hand? Why should she carry it so carefully? She certainly didn't need to refer to the note at all after the interview. Doesn't it strike you as rather strange?
Well, now, you put it that way, it does seem a little peculiar.
Hello? Did you notice this chip on the parapet, Sergeant?
Oh, you mean on the edge of the bridge, sir? Yes, I noticed it. Didn't think nothing of it, though.
Not a very large chip.
Yes, but it's been done recently. Notice how the stonework is white just here. It took some violence to do that. Hand me your cane, will you, Watson?
Here you are.
Thanks. Yes? It was a hard knock. And in a curious place, too.
But it's 15 feet from where we found the body, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Holmes. I don't see how it could have any connection with Mrs. Gibson's murder.
Well, perhaps it hasn't. But it's a point worth noting. There were no footprints, you say, Sergeant?
None, Mr. Holmes. The ground was as hard as iron. It's been a very dry summer, and we haven't had any rain to speak of.
That's a pity. Well, Sergeant, I'm much obliged to you, and now I think we'll go back to the house.
Right. Caesar will show you where the firearms are, sir.
Oh, who is Caesar?
Oh, a funny kind of bloke. Brazilian, I guess?
Brazilian, eh? Like Mrs. Gibson?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Comes from the same town as she does, as a matter of fact. Something very fishy about him, if you ask me. Now, if you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I'm going to take a little stroll around the grounds. You've started me on a new train of thought in this case, Mr. Holmes.
I'm delighted, Sergeant. Come, Watson, let's get back to the house. I see. And these are all the firearms in Mr. Gibson's possession, eh, Caesar?
Mm-hmm. Except for the revolver that is missing from the case.
I've never seen such a collection of guns and revolvers in my life.
Mr. Gibson have many enemies, senor. He always sleep with a loaded pistol beside his bed. He's a man of great violence. There have been times when all of us were afraid of him.
Did you ever witness physical violence towards Mrs. Gibson?
No, senor. I cannot say that I have, but I have heard him say many terrible things to her. He would taunt her in front of we servants. I have heard him do it many times.
Thank you, Caesar. That will be all.
Muy bueno, senor.
You know, Holmes, I still think the case against Miss Dunbar looks very black.
I should agree with you if it were not for one fact. The finding of the revolver in her wardrobe.
Upon my soul, Holmes, that seems to me the strongest evidence of all.
I think not, old chap. We must look for consistency. Where there is a want of it, we must suspect deception.
I don't quite follow you.
Suppose for a moment that we visualize you in the character of a woman who, in cold, premeditated fashion, is about to murder a rival. You've planned it. A note has been written. The victim has come. You have a weapon. The crime is well done. It has been workmanlike and complete. Do you mean to tell me that after carrying out so crafty a crime, you'd be so stupid as to forget to fling the incriminating revolver to the bottom of the stream? Or perhaps in the dense reeds that border it? Would you carefully carry it home and put it in the first place that would be searched? Your wardrobe?
Well, perhaps in the excitement of the moment.
No, my dear chap, I won't admit that's even possible. When a crime is coolly premeditated, the means of covering it are coolly premeditated also.
Well then, if Miss Dunbar didn't shoot Mrs. Gibson, who the devil did?
I hope I can give you the answer to that question, Watson, when we've made one further visit.
Oh, Lord. Where are we going now?
To prison, old chap.
Prison?
Yes, we're going to Winchester Prison to call on Miss Dunbar. I'm certain that the key to this strange mystery lies in her hands.
You'll hear the rest of Dr. Watson's story in just a few seconds. Just time enough for me to remind you that the easiest way to make good food taste better is to serve that good food with a good Petri wine. If you like a red wine, well, you want a Petri California Burgundy. If you'd rather have a white wine, then you want a Petri California Sauterne. But red or white, Petri Burgundy or Petri Sauterne, you're choosing a dinner wine that's sure to turn a simple meal into a feast. Your whole family and all your friends will love Petri, the wine that makes good food taste better. And now back to Dr. Watson and tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure, The Problem of Thor Bridge. Well, Doctor, did you go to Winchester Prison and see Miss Dunbar?
We did, Mr. Bartell. An hour later found the two of us sitting in a dank and gloomy cell, talking to one of the most beautiful girls that I've ever seen. Her bright flashing eyes and her air of quiet confidence seemed sadly out of place in such a setting. Holmes spoke to her, quietly soothing her.
Miss Dunbar, tell us of your true relations with the dead woman.
She hated me, Mr. Holmes. She hated me with all the passion of her distorted mind.
Please tell us exactly what happened on the evening of Mrs. Gibson's death.
Well, I received a note from her in the morning, a note imploring me to meet her at the bridge after dinner that night. She said she had something important to say to me.
Did you keep that note, Miss Dunbar?
Oh, no, Doctor. She asked me to destroy the note, so I burned it in the schoolroom grate. I saw no reason for such secrecy, but Well, I did as she asked.
And yet she kept your reply very carefully. That's interesting. Tell me what happened when you met her that night.
When I reached the bridge, she was waiting for me. I won't tell you what she said. She poured out her whole wild fury in burning, horrible words. I did not even answer. I couldn't. Oh, it was even dreadful to look at her. She was like an insane woman standing there screaming disgusting insults at me. I put my hands to my ears and I rushed away.
Where was she standing when you left her?
Within a few yards of the spot where her body was found later.
And yet, presuming she met her death shortly after you left her, you heard no shot?
No, I heard nothing. But I was so upset, Mr. Holmes, that I rushed straight back to my room.
Did you leave it again that night?
Yes. When the alarm came that Mrs. Gibson was dead, I ran out with the others.
Did you see Mr. Gibson?
Yes, Doctor. He had just returned from the bridge when I saw him. He had sent for the doctor and the police.
This pistol that was found in your room, had you ever seen it before?
Never, Mr. Holmes. I swear it.
When was it found, Miss Dunbar?
And next morning, when the police made their search, it was on the floor of my wardrobe where I keep my shoes.
You've no idea how long it had been there?
Well, it hadn't been there the morning before.
How do you know?
Because I tidied up the wardrobe that day.
I see. Then someone must have come into your room and placed this pistol there in order to incriminate you.
I'm certain of it.
Well, when? When could they have done that?
Well, it could have been at mealtime or when I was in the schoolroom with the children.
Yes. Miss Dunbar, on examining the scene of Mrs. Gibson's death, I noticed that a piece of stonework on the side of the bridge had been broken away. Can you suggest any possible explanation for that?
Oh, surely it must have been a mere coincidence, Mr. Holmes.
Possibly. But why should it appear at the very time of the tragedy, and at the very place? Could it possibly be that... Why, yes, of course. Idiot, why didn't I think of it before? Come along, Watson.
Where are we going, Holmes?
Back to Thor Bridge, old fellow, and as fast as we can get there.
What have you found out, Mr. Holmes?
The answer to this mystery, I hope, my dear young lady. You will get the news before the day is out. And in the meanwhile, take my assurance that the clouds are lifting and that the light of truth is breaking through.
Well, Mr. Holmes, you're soon back here. What have you found out?
I'll tell you in a few moments. You got my message.
Yes, here you are, a ball of twine. What you want it for, I can't imagine.
You'll soon see, Sergeant. Watson, I have some recollection that you usually go armed on these excursions of ours.
Yes, I'm carrying my revolver. Why?
Give it to me, old chap, will you? Thanks. I believe your revolver may have a very intimate connection with the mystery we're investigating.
You're joking.
No, Watson, I'm very serious. We have a test to make. If the test is successful, Miss Dunbar will be free before nightfall, and the test will depend on the conduct of this revolver of yours. I take the precaution of unloading it. There we are. Now, Sergeant, ball of twine, please.
Wish I knew what you was up to, sir.
I tie one end of the twine, like this, to the handle of the revolver. So, Sergeant, see if you can find me a heavy stone, will you?
Right you are, sir.
Holmes, what are you doing?
Trying to reconstruct the killing of Mrs. Gibson. But you've seen me miss the mark before, Watson. I have an instinct for such things, and yet it has sometimes played me false. It seemed a certainty when it first flashed across my mind in Miss Dunbar's cell, but one drawback of an active mind is that one can always conceive alternative explanations which would make our scent a false one. And yet, oh well, we can but try.
Here's a nice stone, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Sergeant. Now, I tie the other end of this twine to a stone. Wait a minute. Like that. Splendid. Sergeant, will you please take this stone and stretch the twine across the parapet of the bridge there, so that the stone will swing just clear of the water on the other side of the bridge.
Right you are, sir.
I'll stand on the spot where Mrs. Gibson's body was found. That's it, Sergeant. Over the parapet.
All set, Mr. Holmes. The stone's swinging about 8 feet above the water.
Splendid. Now, Watson, watch closely. I raise the revolver to my head.
Careful, Holmes, careful.
But don't worry, old chap, it's not loaded. Now, let us imagine that I am the late Mrs. Gibson. I raise the revolver to my head and fire it. Instantly, my fingers release their grip and... There's your answer, Watson.
Great Scott! The revolver flashed back out of your hand, struck the edge of the bridge, and then the weight of the stone flipped it over into the water.
Was there ever a more exact demonstration? Come on, old fellow.
You're a bloomin' magician, Mr. Holmes. That's what you are, a bloomin' magician.
Look at that. There's the second chip on the stonework of the parapet here, same size as the first.
Then the murder of Mrs. Gibson
Wasn't murder at all. It was suicide.
What?
We can follow the various steps quite clearly. A note was extracted very cleverly from Miss Dunbar, a note which made it appear that she had chosen the scene of the crime. Mrs. Gibson, in her anxiety that the note should be discovered, somewhat overdid it by holding it in her hand to the last. That alone should have excited my suspicions earlier than it did.
Then she stole one of her husband's revolvers.
And planted the other one in Miss Dunbar's wardrobe.
Exactly. After discharging one of the cartridges, which she could easily do in the woods without attracting suspicion, she then went down to the bridge where she contrived this exceedingly ingenious method of getting rid of her weapon. When Miss Dunbar arrived, she used her last breath in pouring out her hatred, and then, when the girl had left, carried out her terrible purpose.
Then the missing revolver...
You'll find it, with the aid of a grappling hook, at the bottom of the stream, and also the stone and the string, which with this vindictive woman attempted to disguise her own crime and fasten a charge of murder on an innocent victim.
Yes, Sergeant. And don't forget, while you're at it, that my revolver's down there too.
Oh, don't worry, Doctor. I'll get some grappling hooks right away.
I must say, Holmes, you've solved this case brilliantly. Quite brilliantly.
I disagree, old chap. And I fear that you will not improve my reputation by adding the case of the Thor Bridge mystery to your annals.
Oh, nonsense. But that's ridiculous.
Oh, no, it isn't, old boy. I've been sluggish in my mind and wanting in that mixture of imagination and reality which is the very basis of my art. I confess that the chip in the stonework was a sufficient clue to suggest the true solution, and I blame myself for not having attained it sooner.
Well, Holmes, personally, I agree with the sergeant's opinion of you.
Oh, what's that, old fellow?
You're a bloomin' magician, Mr. Holmes. That's what you are, a bloomin' magician.
Well, Doctor, Holmes really was a magician. That is, if you did find Mrs. Gibson's revolver and your own in the stream.
Oh, we found them all right. You don't think I'd tell you the story otherwise, do you? What do you take me for, anyway?
Well, now that you ask, I'll tell you. I take you for a very charming gentleman, a wonderful storyteller, and a fine host.
Oh, really?
Well, you are a gentleman of the old
it's not
school.
like I've done anything
And
that
you do tell a fine story.
You flatter me.
And you're a perfect host.
Nothing of the
that
sort.
meal we had tonight was wonderful.
Oh, it was?
And that wine. What kind was it?
It was Petrie wine, and you know it. And I should have known you were leading up to something. Mr. Bartell, you should be ashamed of yourself. You'll do anything to get a chance to talk about Petrie wine. Though I can't say that I blame you.
Oh, honestly, Doctor, I meant everything I said. But you don't really want me to stop talking about Petrie wine, do you? After all, it's worth talking about, isn't it? What other wine is made with the loving care that goes into Petrie wine? Don't forget, Petrie wine is made by the Petrie family. Winemaking is their business. Why, they've been making wine for generations, handing down from father to son, all their skill and knowledge and experience. You can be sure the Petrie family really knows plenty about the fine art of turning luscious grapes into delicious wine. That's why, whether you want a wine for before dinner, with dinner, or for any time, you can't go wrong with a Petrie wine, because Petrie took time to bring you good wine. And now, Dr. Watson, what new story are you planning to tell us next week?
Well, next week, Mr. Bartell, I'm going to tell an adventure that Holmes and I had amid the oriental magnificence of a Maharaja's palace in India.
India? Sounds intriguing. What were you and Sherlock Holmes doing out there, Doctor?
Oh, well, you'll have to wait till next week for the answer to that question, my boy. But I can tell you that it was one of the weirdest problems that we ever had to solve. I call the story The Vanishing Elephant.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure is written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and is adapted from the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Problem of Thor Bridge. Mr. Richardson appears through the courtesy of Lucas and Spencer on air, and Mr. Harmon through the courtesy of Play It By Ear, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petrie Wine Company of San Francisco, California invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. To make good food taste better, remember, Petrie Wine. This is Harry Bartell saying good night for the Petrie family. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our KSOC studios. This is Play It By Ear.
You've just been listening in to Sherlock Holmes and the Problem of Thor Bridge.
We hope you've enjoyed a step back in time with radio theater.
Thanks goes out to our radio actors Austin Harmon,
Spencer Richardson,
Lucas Caldwell,
Nolan Kenmith,
Ian Boyd,
Jesse Weigel,
and Sam Niver.
Special thanks to Kat Prine, our production manager,
Kevin Burnett, our sound designer and engineer,
Samuel Wick, our marvelous director,
and Grace Wolcott, our beloved co-host and Play It By Ear producer.
Make sure to tune in to Play It By Ear's 2 other current installments, The Shadow and the Final Hour, premiering June 1st,
and One Way, premiering June 15th.
We're your co-hosts. I'm Grace Wolcott.
And I'm Samuel Wick, inviting you to tune in again next time.
Keep those ears eager.
Have a good night.
Be safe out there.
And thanks for listening. This is Play It By Ear.